You're listening to The Vudaurri Effect with your host, Rudy Vudaurri, owner of the Apex Predator MMA gym in Rancho Cordova, California, co-hosted by Jennifer Steele. Now here's Rudy. It's on.
My name is Sensei Rudy Vudaurri. I am the owner and head coach of Apex Predator Mixed Martial Arts, and you're listening to The Vudaurri Effect. Joy to the world. It's that time of year, and I'm feeling it. It's my December. You know, we're coming into this holiday season, Christmas season. Had a great Thanksgiving, spending time with my kids, the important things in life. And I think having the perspective to look at what's important in life at these times is incredibly important. You know, a lot of people start feeling sorry for themselves. They feel down about what they don't have or what's not going right for them. There's a lot this year that I could look at and feel down about. But there's been a lot more that I can look at and feel great about, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And you should too, because life is good. So we're talking about joy today. Things that are joyous, things that make you happy, festivities, festive. I like to use that word a lot. I just got 2 guinea pigs for my kids. They're festive. They jump around festively. I'm feeling festive right now. Shit. Feel like I should put on a hat or something, you know?
Yeah, you should have brought a Santa hat.
Yeah, I'll wear it.
I'll have to get those for the studio.
Yeah, I'll kick someone in the nuts with a Santa hat on. Give me some little elves.
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be some midgets around here that are for hire,
okay.
right? Yeah.
Hi, it's 1985.
Yeah. But yeah, so talking about joy, you know, what brings you joy, you know? And you got to think about these things. I like to kind of make mental checklists, you know, and the things that kind of bring me joy and put a smile on my face. And I like to, like I've said in previous podcasts, make those things a priority day in, day out so that I have something to look forward to, you know, and the checklist of what brings you joy every day should be top priority, because without your emotional well-being in place, if you're just going through the grind day to day and you're stressed out or you're focused on the things that don't bring you joy, it's going to be real hard to feel joyous. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and not to bring it down.
Yeah, I'm all amped up.
I know we're talking about joy and everything, but I think it's maybe... what do you recommend for people who have trouble feeling okay being joyous? Let's say that they were in a situation that they left, maybe it was a relationship or something, and the other person's not doing so great, but they're doing much better. How do you explain to somebody it's okay to feel that joy? You know, for different people, there's different things, and it's subjective, right? But sometimes it's okay to go for that instant gratification. Sometimes it's okay to be a little selfish, you know, and to make space for the things in life that maybe you've been putting off or you feel like, you know, like guilty about doing because you have so many other things on your plate, you know, and maybe you're taking care of your kids or you're taking care of your significant other. Maybe you've broken up and you're done with your significant other and you're moving on to other things and you have guilt about that. But, you know, at the same time, you know, you have to feel happy with yourself. You have only yourself to look at the end of the day. And at that point, it's something that's incredibly important, because if you can't look yourself in the eye and be completely happy and content with everything that you've done with yourself and you're doing moving forward, nobody or no thing that you're prioritizing at that point is going to be affected anyway. You can't really help those people until you help yourself. Sometimes you have to put yourself first, you know, and there's a reason, you know. My girl's always talking about, on airplanes, you have to put the oxygen mask on first before you put it on anyone else, you know, and if you can't take care of number one, then you can't take care of anyone else. It's a really good analogy, the airplane one. I mean, it is. It's the truth. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the people around you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and so, yeah, my advice to people that are kind of struggling with that, coming out of, you know, what's bringing them down into what's joyous, you know, it's about sometimes being a little healthily selfish, you know, being healthy selfish, you know,
yeah.
You know, in a way that is also still, you know, respectful and also still productive and not stepping on anyone's toes, you know, but sometimes you just got to go for the quick fix and, you know, in a responsible way. And I mean that with all respect to the people that have like addictions and problems, whether it's, you know, substance abuse or gambling. I'm not talking about that. You people probably need to hit the brakes a little bit and stop, you know, being the cocaine guinea pig that taps the lever that gives them the drug every time they get that little fix just to feel it. You know, you have to be the people that are trying to show discipline and strength. And sometimes that strength brings joy. Being able to break the cycle and create new patterns for yourself and new history and new memories, that's joyous because of what you're doing up to this point hasn't worked. It's probably not going to work for next year either.
I think back, there's a lot of situations in my past I can think of where I was not sure how I was going to get through something, and I was not sure I was making the right decision. But, my dad always said, I don't care what decision you make, just make a decision and stick with it and do it and go for it,
Yeah, and, that goes back to the first episode we ever did, which was conviction, and sometimes having the conviction to stick to your guns and move forward with something is going to be very important, And as this holiday season comes around, a lot of people think about resolutions coming into the new year, and what better time to start than now? But you don't need to start till January 1st. You could start now. There is no better time than now, and no New Year's resolution or no, one day is going to change anything. Like, it's going to take a lifestyle change, and it's going to take that starting now.
Yeah. And think about, especially if your outlook on life is grim at the moment, and even little things might help you to start to feel better. Practice joy with little things until you get there.
My suggestion to answer the original question is, to start small. Buy yourself some chocolate.
That always makes me feel better.
It is a mood booster. It is something that has been proven to be good for, the brain. Well, shit, I don't know that. They say they have these articles every now and then. Yeah, chocolate's great. Fucking eat it.
It's really good. Sometimes it's good for you. The darker chocolate's better for you.
Well, it's like wine, and then you see the people like, yeah, red wine's good for you.
Yeah.
And then they have a box over their head, just like guzzling it down.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Words to live by. Words which I haven't lived by all the time, but I aspire to. So, yes, please do something for yourself. Think about what that is, and then also, since we're in the holiday season, think about doing something for someone else. Do something for others. That's going to be very important because what goes around comes around.
I think I've mentioned this before. One thing I like to do this time of year is I usually go through my clothes and I've got stuff to get rid of, maybe sweaters, maybe coats, maybe I find some mittens or some gloves. And what I like to do is throw that stuff in my trunk. And sometimes this time of year especially, I'll bundle it together. And then when I'm out and I see somebody who's cold, I ask them if I can give them a coat. And I give them a little bundle with a little bow wrapped around it. And I'll tell you, I've had nothing but great experiences doing that. And especially this time of year when it's so cold. In certain parts of the country, like where we are in Sacramento. And there's such a homeless population here. It's really just something small that you can do. And I'll tell you what, the feeling that you get from doing it goes a long way.
That's joy in itself, right? Because if you can bring joy to others, then that'll bring you value and joy and make you feel like you've done your good deed for the day. Sometimes you see somebody without joy. It can be as simple as handing somebody a coat that you're not using anymore, a pair of socks, some gloves or a meal. If you're in the drive-thru right now and you're at a place where you're getting a burger or a sandwich or some fries, why not? If you spend an extra $1.50 on a side order of fries and you drive past the first person that you look at and think this person could probably use these more than I could. Shit, I'm not saying don't get yourself some fries, but right. Give them the fries and then see what that does because it's a domino effect. They might look at you and be like, well, where's the burger?
Or I don't eat fries. Where's my vegetables?
It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where they donate the muffins, but without the tops.
Oh, yeah.
To the homeless people. And then they're like, well, we're not good enough. We have no roofs. There's no tops. We just get the bottom of the muffin, right?
Oh, no.
Maybe get them the burger, too. Maybe get them the burger. If you're going to do it right.
One thing I like, too, is if you're doing okay, maybe had a good week at work or a good month at work, get a couple of gift cards at some fast food places, like $10 gift cards. That'll buy somebody a sandwich and a coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can feel good giving that to somebody because you know that they're going to have to go to that place and get that food.
It brings joy, and it's also like, getting somebody a gift sometimes can be pretty pressure packed, and those are things that sometimes people can be a pain in the ass to buy things for, and so just giving them money in one form or another, whether it's a gift card to somebody that everybody likes, like In-N-Out Burger, you get somebody a $40 gift card to In-N-Out Burger, I guarantee you they will be happy with that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should get In-N-Out Burger to sponsor us. Huh?
I know. Yeah, we're going to have to go there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've taken personal pride in the gifts that I've given, and you should too. Like, for this Christmas, if you guys are thinking about what you're getting other people, I got these guinea pigs for my kids. I got my girl a massage mat from the Sharper Image.
Nice.
And it's pretty neat. Like it has different settings, heat setting.
Oh, cool.
And you can lay on it. It's body length, so you can lay down, front or back, No happy endings, but I mean, I guess that's what I'm for, But, the other side of that, you can get somebody a personal mug. I got her a personalized mug. I got my kids. Well, maybe, I don't know if I should say that. Will this be released before Christmas? Probably. Right?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think my son's listening to it. Yeah, he's too young. But I got him the largest RC car in the world.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I mean, go big or go home, right?
That's awesome.
It is a replica of the Grave Digger monster truck.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's 2 foot tall by 2 foot wide.
Neat.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
Got my daughter an art tablet.
Oh.
And these are just some ideas. This is what I did. I got myself some... I like weapons,
Nothing says Christmas like another weapon.
Like think of the Die Hard, flicks. So Lethal Weapon. Right. These are all great, Christmas festivities, right? Yeah. So yeah, bringing joy to others, getting gifts, and that's what this year should be about for you. If you haven't had this kind of Christmas spirit, or if you haven't felt that before, reach down somewhere deep inside yourself. There's enough bad news going on in the world. You look around, you watch the news, you see it. There's homeless people out. People are losing jobs left and right. But hell, why let that bring you down? You're still alive. You still got your heart beating, and you still got people around you. It could be a whole lot worse.
I always have trouble when somebody asks me what I want for Christmas or birthday or something like that, because I can never really think of anything that I want, because I get so much more joy out of watching people open what I put together for them. And I like to go, one thing I do is I go to vintage stores and like really cool little retro stores, and I try to find really personal things that I like. Let's say somebody likes frogs, and I found this really cool frog,
I love frogs.
Statue or something for somebody. Yeah, I think those are like the most heartfelt gifts, are some of the best. One of my best gifts I ever got last year. My daughter had her daughters make me cards, and it was just the sweetest thing ever. That's awesome.
And the sentimental value, right? Sometimes that is more important than the value itself of spending money, for somebody. It's just what's meaningful. It's funny, we're both childs of the 80s, children of the 80s, I should say, and back then it was like we had record stores, it wasn't all this, this downloads and all that, or Spotify. Thanks Spotify anyway for this podcast. But, it was, you'd walk into a store and you'd buy I bought cassettes.
Oh, I love
they had cassette singles. Tower Records back in the day, and you pop them in your Walkman and your big ass headphones, and part of this, it's like, Christmas comes around and it's like walking into the record store and all the songs you had in your head that you wanted to buy, you go in there and you completely draw a blank, because it's like,
I know.
Wait, shit, what did I want to get again? Like, what song was that? What was it called? Who's the name of the band?
Yeah.
And so as you think of these things, write them down, make notes. Especially if you're a stoner, please, for the love of God, you're going to forget anyway, or if you're in the mixed martial arts industry like I am and you've had a few concussions. The gerbil is still spinning the wheel up there to put the light on every now and then so that I remain bright and not always dim. So, I like to make notes for myself. Otherwise, I'll forget, so make notes, and start writing like a journal, like sometimes, you look at analytics, we talk about feel, we talk about emotion, but if you start looking at like certain days or certain, you start to see patterns in how you feel on certain days, or maybe it's a weekend, or maybe it's a Sunday because you have to go back to work or something, or you start to look at the patterns of your emotions and your behaviors, and you start to figure out, it's almost like an equation, right? You can start to put together the pieces of the puzzle to understand what's bringing you down or what's bringing your joy, and those are just some little things that sometimes work, because then you can kind of look back and be like, well, shit, every Thursday I realize that I feel great because I'm about to eat burritos, and then every Sunday, after I'm seeing my kids, I get a little low because I know they have to go, and I get so excited sometimes on Saturday night because it's Saturday night, first of all, and then, I know I get to see them, So it's you start to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and it helps you understand why. And then there's other reasons and deeper layers to everything. But helping you understand yourself can help you understand how you feel joyous and why you don't sometimes.
I know it can be tough too. Sometimes there's situations that you maybe can't avoid or can't get out of, that you're stuck in, that bring you down.
Oh, yeah.
And we've talked about ways to try to overcome those things too. But if you're going through that and you're again, start with little things and build yourself up. Start with chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Start with,
have a chocolate.
That favorite hat you want to get or whatever.
I love hats.
Yeah, me too.
Go Jags. And so that's one of those things, I think you're right, and people too. Like, you can't control people, try as you might, but people will try to bring you down. I know, certainly in my situation there, that's the case, and it's okay. I don't feed that the energy. I use that to fuel me and drive me, and I just let it roll off because my time and my energy is better spent doing happy and joyous things, that are going to further better myself and get me more money and put me in better situations and continue to thrive and be successful and happy the way I have been, And people that generally are unhappy will try to take away from somebody that is,
That is so true.
Yeah.
Somebody who is not happy with themselves is going to try to make everybody else miserable too.
And you got to try to separate yourself from those people. And like you said, sometimes for reasons out of your control, there will be situations where those people are like in your life, or they have an influence on what happens around you, whether it's an ex or whether it's somebody else, and you just have to be able to roll with it too, because although you can't completely control that situation, you can control how you respond to it. And you can either let it get you down, or you can still be joyous. And sometimes the thing they hate is to see a smile on your face no matter what.
That is the truth too.
Exactly. So the best revenge, not that you even need to call it that, but it's just to be happy. Real success is about being emotionally complete, fulfilled, and happy. And if people are trying to take that away from you, make the decision whether or not to keep them around. If the good outweighs the bad, hey, it's not the worst thing in the world. Sometimes relationships or friendships or these situations need a little bit of work, and there's a give and take. Otherwise, if the bad outweighs the good, it's academic. We talk about analytics. We talk about writing a journal. We talk about what comes down to a mathematical equation. If the bad outweighs the good and the joy is less than the bad, it's on the wall. And so coming back to, when we first started about this is the little things. It doesn't have to be a big step or, about getting, winning the lottery or something. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Everybody can fantasize about all these things, but, at the same time, be realistic. Be realistic, because then sometimes if you're looking for happiness or you're looking for joy in things that are like long shots, it's okay to aspire to those things, but you got to keep your bucket full with things that can fill it up one drop at a time instead of big splash plays. Maybe
that also means trying harder to find joy in things that are available to you.
Oh, yeah.
Or readily available to you.
Yep. And sometimes we're so caught up and we have blinders on looking for these things that we think we're going to find. It's like the song Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, you know. And then sometimes the things that are right in front of us or right next to us or that have been there all along, and it doesn't have to be a person. It could be something, a hobby or a pet, or a song or a new direction that you've always kind of put on the back burner that you want to try something new. Maybe you guys don't cook. Shit, I'm a chef. I've written and authored several cookbooks. My new cookbook, is going to be released soon, Rude Food. It's a dirty cookbook. It's a dirty, dirty book. But, those are things that bring me joy. Take something up new. Find value in yourself. Find a reason to be excited about everything you do every day.
We were just talking about this too off the air about shelters and animals and things like that. Mm-hmm. And, if you're looking for some real true joy, consider a pet, like you said. I don't care what kind of pet. My dog was a rescue dog. Mm-hmm. And I know that rescuing him was so joyful for him, and he shows me every second of every day how grateful he is. And I have gotten so much just pure joy out of my relationship with Jack, with my dog.
Awesome. He's awesome.
But when I look at him, he looks back at me, and that moment right there makes it all kind of worth it, you know?
And he's got those puppy dog eyes. And Lily the pug is still is still my, number one in my heart here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Molly, the other dog. But, I had a 3-legged chinchilla, and he was an amputee at a young age, almost croaked when the second I got him from the farm. The dude that I got him from actually looked like a chinchilla. It's funny, how the pet owners look like the pets. But
they do.
That mother lived for 17 years.
Wow.
Not the farmer, the chinchilla. Yeah, like this guy, his name is Chewy. All right.
Wow.
And I used to feed him fried chicken skin.
How funny.
And Sour Patch watermelon wedges. I was a teenager. I was dumb. I used to blow bong hits in his face. I didn't know what the fuck I was
Probably
doing.
why he lived so long.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, go figure. He lives to be 17 and a half, and with the third leg, it's funny. He would lean like when he'd sit up because one of them was just a stump. So I'd give him the KFC skin and he'd stand up and grab it with his 2 little paws and then he'd lean off to the side like the little leaning tower of pizza. And just thinking about him still, even after all these years, like he's been dead for a while, but the memory lives on, right? So you find these bonds, these things that are sacred to you that are special, and I'm not saying you have to create a shrine, but kind of create a general, surround yourself, generally with things that are going to bring you the kind of joy and happiness that chinchilla gives me, that Jack brings you, know, and that, even just a good plate of pasta, can bring somebody, it's all about the little things in life. Sometimes it's just less is more. Sometimes keep it simple instead of shooting for the stars all the time. Hey, maybe you get there, maybe you don't. But take a look at what's right in front of you, and chances are you'll be surprised at what can make you happy.
That's absolutely true. And doing things for other people, getting back to that, can be a variety of things. It can be visiting somebody who's sick, and bringing them some of your time. Just sitting with them for a while, or there's a whole variety of things that you can do to tap into what will make them feel really good. And that in turn makes you feel really joyous. Absolutely.
And, and if you just spend your time poking around on your phone with your face down all the time, and you're one of these kids who, says you're bored and you're like, generally have a shitty attitude. And you're like, well, what's to be joyous about? Christmas sucks. And, and you just kind of,
well, you know what, parents, that's on you.
Yeah.
Because you need to teach your kids about joy, and you need to teach your kids why it's okay to not be on your phone 24 hours a day.
And I kick the shit out of those kids as a coach, as a sensei. It's kind of fun, but, it's one of those things that if you're like claiming that you're bored, there are so many things that you can be doing. If you're bored, or, if, for God forbid, your iPhone, is not working properly for 2 hours, and your Wi-Fi goes out or something, get out and do something for somebody else. Get up, volunteer. Anybody who is listening to this podcast who in the last week says they're bored, shit, I don't have time to feel bored. I'm still coaching, I'm grinding, I'm doing other things, I'm making other plays now. I don't have time barely to sleep. I am off my ass. There's no such thing as being bored. No. You have to be constantly on it, and chances are if you're not completely joyous, if you're looking at your overall effort and energy in life that you're putting out there, you get back what you put out. You know?
You do. Absolutely.
So, to wrap this all up today, I want to first of all thank my listeners. Anybody who has listened to more than one episode of the Vudaurri Effect, thank you. Because this thing is still, taking off. We're still in the beginning stages, but I have so much fun doing this with you, Jen.
And me too. And you know what? You're so good at it. You're so good at motivating people. And your stories, I think, are really helping a lot of people. And I hope that you get a lot of joy out of doing this.
I'm having such a good time today. I just spent all afternoon, doing bag work and mitts with people. And that was good. I, got a good sweat and now coming in and walking in here, I'm still amped up, but it just makes me so happy, not only to have this outlet so that I can share, but also to know that a lot of the people that have listened to this have approached me and said, you know what, I listened to this episode about this or about that, or I listened to episode number 6, and this really helped me. These are things that really help me, and your perspective and your stories have helped me make a difference in my life for the decisions I make, and it's made me better, and that's what means the most to me, is that I'm helping people. And whoever's out there today, I mean, listen, if you're listening to this and you're feeling it, you're the reason I do this shit. So thank you. Not thank me, thank you, So I want to remind you guys to keep listening, do the right thing. All right. Thank you. Thank you from the Vudaurri Effect to you. Stay blessed.
The Vudaurri Effect is a Steel Voices production. Recorded, produced, mixed, and engineered at Cat House Studios by Jennifer Steele. Hosted and created by Rudy Vudaurri, owner of the Apex Predator MMA Gym in Rancho Cordova, California. More info and full episodes available at apexpredatormma.com, steelvoices.com, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening to The Vudaurri Effect.